We want to interview Michael Calber.
Howie, you gotta bring me up.
All right, how you doing?
Good.
Folks, this is Michael. Very inspired by this young man. He's totally blind, and he never let his disability slow him down. He graduated from Hofstra University, and he's done a lot with his life. So, Michael, why don't you tell the people, after you graduated from Hofstra, some of the great things that you've done to inspire so many people?
Well, after I graduated from Hofstra, I had a lot of difficulty finding jobs. About 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with a visual condition called Leber's congenital amaurosa. It is robbing me of my usable sight, and as a result of that, completing the paperwork that a social worker would do became very difficult. So I've taken to public speaking and public advocacy, and I'm in the process of beginning to write a curriculum designed to enhance the communicative experiences of people with disabilities of all types in the healthcare system. For example, when I go to doctors or when I go out socially, people often talk to the person who accompanies me because I might not be able to make good enough eye contact, or they may see the wheelchair and think my disability is intellectual or cognitive, and people may stereotype me. But the thing I like to do is just say hi to them, and then all the stereotypes go away as soon as I start to talk. So when I got diagnosed with the Leber's disease, I immediately thought, well, what am I going to do for work? What's the one thing I do well? And that thing has always been communicate well toward and with others. So I thought about that from a dichotomist approach. I looked at it from a scientific, empirical approach so that I could track my symptoms and basically take control with my mind of the progression of the visual impairment. By taking control of the label of the visual impairment, the label of Leber's disease, I was able to construct my own reality. And that's what I want to help licensed professionals do. I want to help. I've spent a lot of time speaking to prospective special education students at Hofstra, students pursuing their master's degrees in public health, social workers at Adelphi, teachers at Adelphi, special education teachers. Basically, if you can change the way you view a perceived limitation and view it from a position of strength, and allow the person you're trying to educate or interact with to view themselves from a position of strength, that's when the communicative magic happens. The speakers who have spoken before me on this radio show tonight all understand the significance of how much making human connections matter. I'm launching an initiative via my website, michaeljcalberpresents.com, that I'm going to call the Humanity Matters Initiative. Mr. Appel, I would like your help and to graciously request your assistance in promoting this when I get this launched.
My pleasure.
And I find a lot of commonality and universality in being human. We all come from families. We represent ourselves, our families, our universities, and whichever other groups of people we're affiliated with. Too many people in my life have lumped me in simply by my physical and visual conditions. Stereotyping somebody is something we do to organize information, but it shouldn't be something we do to try to quantify humanity. I'm also involved in a lot of charitable endeavors, like the Foundation Fighting Blindness, the Hofstra Alumni Association. I've participated in fundraisers for Hurricane Sandy relief, and I'm beginning charitable work with the New York Islanders Children's Foundation and the Marty Lyons Foundation. My family and friends are the biggest source of support for me in my life. They've raised me as an individual with a disability and not a disabled person. That means, in essence, that they've allowed me to pursue my own expectations, my own dreams, my own career path, while recognizing my limitations and allowing me to work around them and work around them with me. Just as to talk a little bit about communication etiquette for people with disabilities. When I met Howie, I met him via Facebook. Facebook is not an easy way for me to communicate, because if the conversation scrolls too long and takes too long on the screen, the assistive technology I use called VoiceOver doesn't always read the entire conversation. And besides, I find it easier to pick up context if I'm communicating verbally. I can hear inflection. The VoiceOver doesn't give inflection. I can hear tone. I can hear pauses. I can initiate laughter. So, going blind has actually made me a better communicator than I was prior to the progression of the retinal degenerative disease that I have. So I take it not as a personal responsibility, but as my way to make a difference in the lives of others, knowing that education was my only way to perceived employment or a better life. I take the responsibility of teaching those of us who want to interact with people with quote-unquote special needs, although I don't think my needs are that special. I think all humans' needs are unique. The need to communicate, the need to be accepted, the need to work, the need to have a professional affiliation. Those are all things we have in common, regardless of race, creed, color, religion, gender, disability status. We all want to produce. We all want to feel valued. Not to say that the work that I do is my only way of feeling valued. I mean, I'm a valued member of the community of Mineola. I'm a valued member of the Hofstra Alumni Association. I'm a valued member of family, first and foremost. Brother, uncle to my nephew and two nieces, cousin. And I just want to thank Mr. Pell and Jake and everybody who preceded me on this show. And give a shout out to all the families out there who are doing the right things by people and raising individuals with and without special needs with love and support. And all my love and support goes to my family, my parents particularly, for raising me the way that they have, to Hofstra University for potentially giving me the opportunity to write my curriculum and adapt it, and for me to have the social opportunities that every student in college had at Hofstra in the early 2000s. I was went there from 97 to 2001, and every social opportunity was available to me. Nobody treated me any differently because I was because of my physical or visual limitations, and I owe a lot of my foundation for the current success I'm experiencing to faculty and students at Hofstra University, and to opportunities like this. So thank you again for this opportunity, and I hope everybody enjoys the night.
Okay, Michael, thank you so much. I just want to relate one story. I graduated from Hofstra. That's where I met my lovely wife. Graduated in 1980, and one of my passions in the communications is I wrote for the Hofstra Chronicle.
Yep.
And one of the things I covered was the Hofstra wheelchair basketball team.
Hell yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. And I actually went with them on a trip to Virginia in the tournament. And I remember their famous saying was, "It's not disability that matters, it's ability." Talk about that.
The area of sports and the intrinsic value that comes from teamwork. Sorry about the feedback. Yeah. Sports has become an avenue and is an avenue for people to break down perceived disabilities. A sport is beautiful because either you can play with adaptation or you can't. Jesse Owens in the movie Race, his color didn't matter, speed did. When we're on the court, when I played in high school, wheelchair basketball, people with severe disabilities would forget about their respirators, forget about their breathing apparatuses. Then we were just young men competing our butts off, playing the game and having fun. So the universality of sport and being a microcosm for culture and breaking down barriers associated with disability. For example, when I played wheelchair basketball, I had to tell my teammates to bounce the ball so that I could hear it and then react to it. We would use different colored balls, brightly colored basketballs, so that those of us with vision could see those brightly colored balls easier. I was a captain and leader on my high school basketball teams. We took our intramural league that we started from high school, because a lot of graduates from Viscardi played with us. And to be honest with you, it opened up a heck of a lot of social opportunities with females. We'd stick the pretty cheerleaders in wheelchairs and get them to play with us. And sure enough, the next thing you know, we're having a beer together after playing the game, and maybe get a number or two if you're lucky too. So that was the beauty of sport for me. I use it to break down barriers, and Hofstra has always been proactive with that. And that's why I love sports so much as well. Wheelchair basketball, wheelchair hockey. I was involved in a league called We Try Harder, which was a modified baseball and bowling league. And it was just a bunch of kids who were able-bodied interacting with a bunch of kids with disabilities. And we all had each other's back. I believe it was Superfan that mentioned one big family. That's what sports was for me, and that's what sports is for a lot of people with limitations, or whether it's people of different socioeconomic backgrounds or disability status. Your teammates become your family. There's cohesion, there's the pursuit of a common goal. And that's what I love about sport.
All right. Let's give it up for Michael Calbro. I can tell by the looks around the room tonight, you've inspired a lot of people, Michael. So thank you for joining us, and we'd love to have you back.
Thank you.
All right, Michael Calbro, ladies and gentlemen.